Greetings, Ventures. This is Lorne, your guild advisor, and we're back at it with another Don Memo news update. They didn't do a live stream last week, but this time we did get a live stream. We got a ton of info from this, a lot of stuff I wasn't really expecting, and some stuff I thought we wouldn't be getting as soon as we are. But as you can see here on the image, first up we have a Kinos Journey collaboration rerun. This was the first ever collaboration event we had with the game. But as you can see here, with the rerun event, if you clear through it, you'll be able to get a Labyrinth Country 4-star guaranteed 11 draw tickets. So a guarantee on one of the Kinos Journey characters, and of course this is the 3-star Kino when they were still doing 3-star characters that you could farm to +5, but nowadays we get 4-star characters. So this is really just there for collection purposes. And once again, if you log in anytime during the event, it looks like you'll be able to get a free copy of the 4-star Kino and Hermes. They were really good when they came out, and they are going to be buffing some of the Kinos Journey characters with this rerun. But that was the one unit I really struggled to get multiple copies of, and I got PTSD from Hermes' unit. Oh boy, Yahoo! Anyway, and like with the Data Live collab rerun, we're also getting a new character with this rerun, this time being another version of Kino. And for those of you that aren't aware, Kino is indeed a girl, and this probably just makes it extremely obvious here with Food Fighter Kino. If you're asking where she's from, this is based on Academy Kino, apparently. And I actually haven't been well versed in like all of Kino's stuff. I just know about the main light novel series of Kinos Journey. I was not even aware that this was even a thing, but that's really cool to see. And as for her stats, she has 1942 strength at max here, Ascension maximum break, with 1095 agility, so she is decently fast. And as we look into the skills, I would like to thank Simhow6567 on Discord from the Memo Reddit Discord for these skill translations. For her special arts, it's an AoE Ultra Earth physical attack that increases 40% in damage for each self-critical rate buff skill on her, and it also has a high penetration rate and has a 40% chance to seal. So that special arts will hit pretty dang hard if you get it off, and it has the bonus of a chance of seal, and if those seals go off, then your opponent is in for some pain, especially in stuff like war games where you're probably going to be using that special arts. And for her combat skills, her first skill is a self-fast critical rate, guard rate, counter rate, and earth attack damage buff of 40% for 5 turns. So all this is a buff, and a fast buff at that. So there's a chance that she'll use this first in war games, and you'll be able to have a high guard rate and counter rate, and you'll be prepared somewhat for the next upcoming attacks during that turn, and also buffing yourself for the next turn. Her second skill is an AoE Super Earth physical attack that increases in damage by 30% for each crit rate buff on her, and also has a high unguard rate. So yeah, that first skill is there to buff her immensely, and then that second skill is to take advantage of the buffs you just got on her. And then her third skill is a single target fast high earth physical attack that will increase in damage by 30% for each critical rate buff skill on her. So she's just really based around getting her buffs up with the first skill, and then using the appropriate skill 2 or skill 3, depending on the type of encounter. And I'm really interested to see if you can make a good Earth team with this Kino. We haven't been able to do war games for quite some time because of some issue with Elfie's skill, so we're finally going to be able to do war games starting tonight, so maybe we'll see some experimentation come Wednesday when all this stuff actually drops into the game. And of course, the Noble passive is an extra 50% damage on any counter she does, and she'll be countering a lot because of that first skill of hers. And of course, with this slide, it's just reinforcing the fact that the scenario for the Kinos Journey event was co-authored by Keiichi Sixawa, which is the author of Kinos Journey, and then of course Omori Sensei being the author of the Danmachi series. And again, if you clear through the event, you'll get a Labyrinth Country 4-star guaranteed 11 draw ticket, which will give you a guarantee Kinos Journey character. And then of course, like I said, the previous units from the Kinos Journey rerun will be getting some enhancements, so you'll be seeing like the old Kino, the old Hermes, the old Photo, Tifana, Shizu, and Riku. They'll be getting some updates, so look forward to that. I know they like kind of scrolled through them during the live stream, but it was a lot of like minor stuff like this is now 35%. They all have Hero Ascension now, so be sure to check that out when the banners do drop on Wednesday. And here is the banners for the Kinos Journey. With the new Kino, she has her own banner. She'll be guaranteed on the 1st, 4th, and 10th draws, very similar to how the banners are structured if it's just a single character. And then on the rerun banners, we have Gotcha B with Kino, Hermes, and T, and then the other banner having Photo, Hestia, and Riku and Shitsu. And on the rerun banners, your 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th polls will only cost 200 Iris, and then you'll get a guaranteed 4-star character on the 2nd, 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th draws. And there will also be special Kinos Journey paid bundles during this, and you can just see the difference in art style between the regular Kino and then the Academy Kino here. It's very prominent when you compare the two of them directly like this. And we're finally getting Alan Frommel in this game. It's been quite some time. I've been shouting about it for so long, and we're finally getting, like, Season 2 was a chance when they were doing Season 2 banners every week when it was airing, and then they started doing Season 2 story banners as we were slowly getting Season 2 stuff into the game, and Alan's time is finally here. The only thing that confuses me is why they're using these mass versions of Alan and Alfrig, which is one of the Bringar, one of the 4 Prums that are like this elite squad in Freya Familia of level 5s. And Alfrig is the strongest and then the oldest brother. But it's just really weird seeing them in their like visors, not being able to see their faces. Like you see Alan's face in Season 2. So these appearances of Alfrig and Alan are actually based on how they looked in Sword of Oratoria Season 1, if you guys watched that. But I am only assuming that they are saving like Alan's face reveal in Da Memo for when they tried to incorporate episode Freya into the game, because we do have episode Ryu as story in this game, and that's a standalone light novel, and the episode Freya standalone light novel released in Japan in December, and they showed it off during the stream as well. So I can only assume that they're waiting for a Alan face unit when they actually try to incorporate episode Freya into the game itself. And even the Bringar Alfrig has a different character design in Season 2, if you see that during the Ishtar Familia arc. But like with previous Season 2 release gotcha banners, you'll get a guaranteed 4-star on the 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th draw. And Alan has 1936 strength at max hero Ascension maximum break, and a whopping 1251 agility. I think that has to be the highest agility stat I've seen so far in an attacker. And I think just in general, like, correct me if I'm wrong if he's not the fastest, but Alan has some justice with that speed they gave him. That's awesome. And as for his skills, his special art is an AoE Ultra Earth Physical Attack with a temporary strength boost and high penetration rate, and it will also increase his strength, agility, dexterity, and earth attack damage by 60% for 4 turns. So lots of stuff going on in that special arts, doing a high damaging attack and also buffing a lot of his stats, strength, agility, and dexterity, and earth attack damage. A lot of stuff going on there. And as for his combat skills, his first one is an AoE fast high earth physical attack with a high uncounter rate, and will also remove any strength and agility debuffs from your allies, excluding assist skills. Excuse the little typo there, but that's a pretty awesome skill, like having a priority attack going first and then removing any strength or agility debuffs. So if those exist on your allies, Alan will go first, and your allies will be able to go without any strength and agility debuffs being on them. And the interesting thing about this skill is that because Alan is so fast, if you are using him in war games, turn 1, you probably don't need him using this skill first, because there's nothing to remove turn 1 with Alan being the fastest unit, and that just ties in with the second skill being a fast mid-earth physical attack with high encounter rate and a self strength, agility, dexterity, and earth attack damage with a 25% for 4 turns. So I would think in war games you want to use his second skill first, so you probably have to set him to buff, so he uses that move, and then in the following turn he should be using skill 1. So first he uses that second skill to buff himself up, and then assuming your opponent is using characters that would debuff your strength or agility, Alan hopefully will go first that second turn and remove that stuff, so your allies can then go and do a lot of damage without those strength debuffs on, or without the agility debuff on them. So hopefully that is the case, but it's going to be hard, because if your opponent does use an agility debuff on you, and And if you're not using one yourself, then Alan might not actually go first that second turn. So interesting stuff to think about with Alan. Then his third skill is a single target fast high earth physical attack that will increase in damage by 40% for each self agility buff on him, and it also has a high critical rate. So he also has a single target move that if you want to use him for stuff like Record Buster for, but I'm not quite sure if he's going to be the best character to use in something like Record Buster because his self buffs are only 25%. But let's say the situation calls for an earth physical attacker and Alan is what you have, then he wouldn't be too bad of an option if you're limited on options yourself. And then here is Alfred. Like I said before, he is one of the 4 Gulliver brothers, part of the Bringar and Freya Familia, being the oldest of them. And I don't think we're going to get the other 3 brothers as units, at least anytime soon, because in this art, he is using the spear, but the weapons of his 3 other brothers are in the background, so I assume like this is supposed to just be a representation of oldie brothers, with Alfred taking the spotlight. And then again, when episode Freya maybe comes out into the game, we'll might see the other brothers get their own individual characters. But as for Alfred, his strength is at 1920 at max here, Ascension max limit break, with an agility of 1058, so lower than Alan's, but he is a single target character with Alfred here, and he has some pretty insane stuff when it comes to his kit. His special arts is a single target ultra earth physical attack that will increase in damage by 80% for each self dexterity buff skill on him, and also increase his special arts gauge charge gain by 100% for 5 turns. So that special arts is very similar to how the Fire Idle Eyes works, except he does 80% more damage per skill on him rather than Eyes' 60. But he does have the same gauge charge gain for special arts. So when you use his special arts, he'll charge the special arts gauge a lot faster, and you should be able to get an extra special arts off during something like Record Buster, and you'll be getting a lot more points because of the extra special arts you'll be able to do. And for his combat skills, his first skill is a single target super earth physical attack with a high critical rate, and will also increase the strength, dexterity, and earth attack damage of your allies by 30% for 2 turns. So unlike other single target characters that might increase like their strength or magic along with an element by like 50 or even 60% each, he only does 30, but it's also for all allies, so he's helping out the entire party. And of course, you're getting a ton of damage with his special arts because of dexterity buff that you're also putting on him. And then with his second skill, it's a single target high earth physical attack with a high unguard rate, and will also decrease your opponent's physical resistance and earth resistance by 20%, and will also increase the single target damage done to your opponent by 20% for 4 turns. So a lot of debuffs going on with this particular move. So a lot of people like use a character like Anakitty or Goblin Slayer to apply the single target debuff onto your opponent, but you can just now use someone else in that case, because if you have Alfred, you can just use him instead, and he has a lot of debuffs like the physical resistance and earth resistance debuffs you want to be putting on the opponent anyway. So a very good Record Buster unit so far. And as for his last skill, it's a single target mid-earth physical attack with a high penetration rate, and it will increase the turn duration on your ally status buffs and your opponent status debuffs by 1 turn. So kind of like Haruhime, the OG Haruhime, doing that same thing but for 2 turns, except this is an attack and will also do it just for 1 turn. So interesting thing, if you need to extend a buff and for some reason you can't use Haruhime's ability because she's out of mana, or maybe you don't have her, you can get away with using Alfred. But I do think you're probably going to want to be using his first skill if you're trying to do a ton of damage, because it is a super earth physical attack. So I'm not sure how often you'll be using this third skill, but it is there if you do need it. And then for his notable passive, his critical and penetration damage will increase by 20%. And he should be doing that a lot if you're properly gearing up your characters. And then the dexterity buff also helps with both critical and penetration rates going up. So he looks to be like a total beast when it comes to single target damage and Record Buster. I'm sure we'll see a lot of people using him. And this is the feature that was teased about in the previous live stream, the 7th Zone, and also the Equipment Ascension simultaneous release. Play the new event and power up your equipment. So we're finally getting the 7th Zone. The system will be able to get Equipment Ascension materials and we'll be able to finally use that blacksmith feature that's been locked for quite some time. Here it says regarding equipment Ascension, you go to the blacksmith, equipment Ascension, and use the new materials, sharp carbonado for weapons and ultra mafic rock for armor. Those are really weird names, and you can only use this for 4-star equipment that is level 60 or higher. Now, as for the effects that this equipment Ascension will give, they're different for weapons and armor. Once you reach level 70 on a weapon, the enemy's guard rates on attack will decrease, so when you're attacking an opponent, their guard rates won't be as high when you're attacking them, which will of course decrease the chance that they will guard your attack and have your damage, so you'll be doing a lot more damage in that case. And then at level 80, your penetration damage will increase, and then level 90, your critical damage will increase. And then for armor at level 70, the counter rate on attack decreases, so when you're attacking, your opponent's counter rate will decrease, and then your critical rate when attack will decrease, so your opponent's critical rate will decrease when you're being attacked by them, so less potential for them to do a lot more damage to you. And then the same thing with penetration rate, and the chance that your opponent will penetrate you will decrease. And what penetration does is when it succeeds, it basically ignores half the defense of the opponent or of the character that's being attacked, so it does a lot of damage. So these are definitely desirable effects we want to be having on our equipment. And as for the 7th zone, which is how we'll be getting these new materials to do equipment Ascension, it is an event where units of various elements participate, monsters of various elements and types will appear, and you can battle efficiently by using an advantage of elemental attacks. So exploit enemy weaknesses, basically. Form parties to do that. And for the 7th zone, there's actually a schedule for it. It's not some feature that's just always going on. There's going to be a limited time for it to be happening. And I'm assuming this is Japan Standard Time, so subtract a day for United States Pacific Standard Time. So on the 11th of March, the Wind Zone and the Thunder Zone will be open. They'll close on the 13th, and then on the 14th, the Dark and Light Zone will be open, and then we'll close on the 16th. So a total of 6 days for the duration of the 7th zone for this first batch, having monsters of Wind, Thunder, Light, and Dark elements. And it looks like there's going to be some type of score system for the 7th zone, so I guess it might be similar to how Familia Royale worked. Here it says there's a default score for the encounter plus a turn bonus, a maximum damage bonus, and a total received damage bonus. And there's a really unclear translation, like it's kind of hard to understand if you're not in the right mind, but it says a new feature has been implemented to lower damage to higher the bonus score. What do you mean lower the damage? Oh, lower damage that you receive. So if you don't take as much damage from the opponent, that is taken into account in the score itself. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, with the new score system, aim for higher ranks, and then there is a ranking reward, as you can see down here. But first we'll go over the first time clear reward. That's where you see the new equipment Ascension materials, the Sharp Carbonado and the Ultra Mafic Rock. And then for a score reward will be indexed to your score. I never understand why to use that term. I never hear people say, this will index to your score. Usually it's, scale. That makes sense to my mind. And then those rewards are Valor, Smelting Stones, Mystic Bellows, Secret Hammers, and Iris. And then for the ranking reward, this is very interesting to me. So based on your final rank for each element, so I'm guessing there's a leaderboard for each element and how well people do, you'll get a reward of Valor, Sweatstones, Mystic Bellows, and Secret Hammers. So no equipment Ascension materials being parts of the ranking reward. And it looks like they haven't announced anything where there's like a system like with hero lights, where you can actually pay for them with real money. So I'm actually happy that they're not doing that. And it looks like they're not trying to create a separation between people with super strong characters and people that are just starting to get into the game. Like if they had a ranking reward where you got more of these materials with the Sharp Carbonado and Ultra Mafic Rocks, the separation between the newer player and then a super strong player with high level units, maximum breaks, and master Ascension would just divide even farther because they're getting those equipment Ascension materials. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Looks like everyone's just on the same even playing field in that case, which I'm kind of happy with. And remember, Familia Board Game is tonight. I don't know when this video is going to be uploaded. It's either happening right now or it's going to be happening very soon, but Familia War Game starts tonight on March 10th. The same thing with the War Game training. It doesn't give any Iris rewards for the rank you reach, but you still have a daily participation reward that does reward Iris, so do make sure to keep on top of that. At least do 5 of these battles a day. And then there's going to be a bonus Iris campaign, which just means you'll be getting a little bit extra Iris if you do pay for some, like the 300 Iris package will give you 400, and the 1400 Iris package will give you 1600. And there's going to be something called the 1000 days anniversary, and it's 1000 days for Japan, so that memo will be out for almost 3 years, and we're going to have a 3-year anniversary event come summer, but this is a really cool milestone to reach, and up to a 1000 Iris giveaway. So over the course of 10 days, I believe, they'll be handing out 100 Iris, and that will equal 1000. And it looks like you'll also get some Ascension materials as well, which is actually really nice. Hero lights, I always complain about not having enough of, and then we're getting Ascension Fallen and any new equipment Ascension reward, so that's really nice. And of course, like paid bundles galore, the Kinos Journey paid bundles, the 1000 days anniversary paid bundle, lots of stuff going on there. And for the upcoming schedule, remember this is Japanese Standard Time, so subtract 1 day if you are in the US like me. So tonight on March 10th is the Familia War Game and also the War Game Training, and then tomorrow night on the 11th is the rerun for Kinos Journey, and also the addition of a new Kino, the Food Fighter Kino, and also the 7th Zone being active, and as well as the new Season 2 episode 37 and 38 missions being added into the game with Alfred and Alan, and also that bonus Iris campaign, which means you can get some extra Iris if you do pay for those packages. And then on the 13th will be the start of that 1000 days anniversary giveaway with those awesome login bonuses. So a lot of stuff happening. I wasn't really expecting this much stuff to happen this week, but we are getting a lot of stuff. It looks like we're not doing anything special for White Day. Maybe their excuse is like, hey, we're giving you Alfred and Alan. We got 2 boys, and there's only 2 boys on this banner, so be happy about that. There's your White Day. So I guess that's the thing. We're not getting a White Day, unfortunately. That was just a pipe dream, but we'll see what we have into the future, what new event will happen next. But anyway, guys, I hope you get good luck on any rolls if you're trying to roll on the new characters. I hope you're looking forward to getting Alan and Alfred, finally more Freya Familia characters being added into the game. Hopefully we'll get their actual like new character designs added at some point. Probably when episode Freya gets added into the game. Who knows when that's going to happen. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you're excited for the upcoming stuff. If you want to see more Danmachi content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter and join my Discord. And as always, continue enjoying your time adventuring in Mario and the dungeon. This is Lauren, your guild advisor, signing out.
差し込んだまっすぐな